I'm Brent. This is my remote control car. This is gonna be our mounting bracket. This little guy right here. We're gonna put this linear actuator right here on this board, and we'll put another piece of wood somewhere around here. That way it's at the perfect angle to activate the brake pedal. We're probably gonna put some kind of a board or something over here, this regional area, general area, whatever. And that's where we'll mount all the Arduino wiring and stuff. And like I said earlier, this will not have any gas pedal actuators or anything like that. I was gonna put a linear actuator, or not a linear actuator, but a servo motor, and have that kind of just push against that gas pedal a little bit, but decided that I'm just gonna bump the idle up a little bit on the car. That way when you have your foot off the brake pedal, it's gonna want to coast, and then when you want to stop, you can just hit the brake pedal. And this thing, it's not the fastest in the world, but it'll stop. So I got the base all completed for the most part. This is mounted down. It's a couple little screws in here, and just kind of swivels on this pin, and got the cotter pin to make sure it doesn't fall out. Arduino stuff will go right here on this board. We'll just have wires kind of going all over the place. This thing, I'm going to go to the car and measure right now in a minute, figure out what angle I need to mount this. So I'll build another bracket right here where my hand is. Just out of some more wood probably, because I got a ton of it. So, and then I'll probably build some kind of a little thing like that. We'll put the motor right up on here, the little servo or stepper motor, and that'll control the steering. And yeah, that's the plan. So I'm gonna get going on that. It's finally morning. Here's the whole apparatus wired up for the most part. A couple things need to get adjusted, like this motor will be at some sort of an angle. I haven't figured that out yet. And all this stuff is just kind of flopping around. Might paint the board, I don't know yet. Probably though. Alright, so here's a prime example as to why I'm going to put a temperature sensor in the engine bay. Old car, alright, and it's a little bit chilly out. Got some steam up on the windows. Take care of that problem. Oh, radio. Alright, well. Got to do the old pump the gas 20 times. Older cars, when it's cold outside, they don't like to start, especially ones that have very, very worn in rings and valves and, a lot of miles. So that's why I'm going to put a temp sensor in there. That way I'll have a little light on the dash, because the HT12 does not communicate both ways. It's only one way. It goes from the receiver, or from the transmitter to the receiver, and it can't go back the other way. So I'm not going to be able to get the temperature up to the remote control. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a light right here in the dash. It'll turn red once the car reaches a certain temperature. I think the thermostat on here opens at 180. So we're going to go 180. Once it reaches 180, that light will come on, basically signaling that it's good to go. Update number 1573.5. We got all of the wiring for the most part buttoned up. Got the floor plate painted. I didn't have to do that, but it looks cool. And then I'm just gonna finish programming a couple things. Figured out the wiring, for the starter at least. And so there's the power. basically, try to do this, camera in hand. So you plug this guy in here. That'll be one relay, send power to that part. The other relay will send power to the starter. Look at that. And then, there you have it. She starts up. Now I just need to make that work with the relay. So I'll hook all that up. We'll see if those tiny little relays that are meant for 1/1000th of the power will hold up and not explode. So I'll find that out now. All right. So you got the remote. So it's -1 outside. Seems accurate. Now, I'm gonna give the car ignition. And there she goes. Press the 2 buttons. Starts right up, remote control, with the remote control. Got a couple relays in here. Way down there, those little blue guys. They're gonna tell you, or they're gonna send signal to the ignition coil and ignition part of the relay, as well as the starter part of the relay. And then you hit ignition once again, which is right here. Oh, she'll turn right off. You're good to go. Start it again. Oops. Old cars, man, sometimes they don't work. Oh, gotta put the ignition on first. There she goes. All right. Go off again. All right, so now I got the sensor up here in the windshield. Well, the lights for the sensor. The sensor is actually in the engine bay. See it kind of sticking out right there. That way it'll tell me the temperature of the engine bay and will notify me when the engine is warm. The HC receiver is right here. That way it has easy access to signal through the windshield. I don't have anything to mount this, so I did the right thing and used my roommate's tape. So I bought him coffee this morning. We'll call it even. Everything is wired up. The 12 volt from the car battery goes to that linear actuator and to the servo motor. The servo, I think it's burning up. It's from some 80s printer or something. It worked great for a while and now it's just not having a great time. So it'll still turn the wheel. I'm just not gonna do it the way I'd like it to. So I'm just gonna, tie some string to here, to this ledge, and from here to that ledge. And you're gonna get like just a few degrees of turnage, but that's that's enough. Yeah, other than that, she's ready to rock and roll. Starts up pretty good. Got to be careful with the starter. Sometimes you hit that button when it's running, it'll chip that tooth on the starter gear. But that's why I labeled all the buttons now, so I don't do that again. So yeah. So we got the remote right here. I'm gonna start off by starting her up with the ignition.
So there's no one in there right now?
Nope. Alright, so there's ignition. Got those 2 buttons right here. That gives it the spark to the coil on the ignition side of the start relay. And then this button here puts power directly through the relay to activate the starter. Hard to tell, but if you have an ignition, it lets you know if it's on or off. It kind of tells you as you press it. This controls the linear actuator. Goes to the brake, and then servo motor. Steer the car, it's only hooked up from one side. I got lazy and I didn't have enough time to do that. So that's everything. And then over here, here's our temperature tracker. I don't know. Anyways, the red light will turn on when it's hot, and right now none of them are off, but we're just gonna ignore that. Right here we got the temp sensor. It's supposed to let you know when the engine bay is wrong. Actually, that's why the light is temperature. That light will turn red. When it gets hot, it will turn green when it's like warmish. And you can just see that from the window, and that's how you know it's ready to go. We'll go ahead and shut her off. Press that button there. Yeah. All right, now I'm gonna try and drive it. You want to stop that video or keep it going?
I'll keep it rolling.
All right. This might not be good, but we're gonna try.
All right, I'll close the hood
a little bit.
Go ahead and fire it up. That way we don't explode it.
Yeah.
So here, I'll keep the video here. He's pushing the button right now. All right.
I'm gonna sit here.
Actually, I'm gonna open it just a hair. That way I can undo the battery.
Yeah. Okay, stop that.
Hang on one sec. Sorry, video. Okay. So the hood is slightly open. That way I can chase him down and. So hopefully he doesn't crash right now. He's gonna have his foot by the brake pedal. So, but what he's gonna do is he has to manually put it in gear. So he's putting the linear actuator all the way on the brake. So it's sheesh.
All right. You stop.
You stopped it with the brake?
Yep.
Okay, so linear. So not hitting it. I'm trying not to get ran over and film at the same time. There, he stopped it again with the linear actuator.
We don't have steering, but you don't really need steering. Okay. Well, I forgot you got to push it down to stop.
Yeah, I was pushing it forwards.
All right.
Turn the wheel.
This wall. Yep, we'll turn the wheel. Oop. Now let's go this way.
So he's keep going with turning the wheel.
Man, I wish I like angled it the other way. Anyways.
Now put it in reverse.
Good idea.
Same game, now it's in reverse. He's got the brake on.
Releasing the brake. Here we go. Oh, wrong way again. Okay. Yep, so there's everything it's doing. You know, it works when you're moving, but when you're stopped, actually, let me just back up.
Just crank it, turn the steering.
I'm gonna back up some more, then I'll go forward.
Okay.
Let me know if I'm gonna hit something.
You look okay to me.
Just turn the wheel a little bit.
Okay, let's see if she can make the turn, eh?
Now I'll put her in drive. And
obviously there'd be, if it was full remote, there'd be some mechanism to put it in drive, but with the transmission, there's not really something there.
yeah, I know. So we're just gonna send everything we got here. Turn this wheel. You know what? We got to put the little thing on here that the stuff can happen, but we just wind her up. I'll go ahead and
You're gonna want to, dude, it's not even turning yet.
well, it's turning a little bit.
Stopped it with the,
See, now the light's on, as you can see right here. Took a minute, but that just means the engine bay is warmish, because the motor's been running for a few. But once it gets to red, that means it's operating temperature. All right, we're gonna call that good. I think that sums it up. It's a good,
it's still in gear.
is it?
Yes.
That's how much I trust my project. I'll leave her in gear all day. I'm gonna let off the brake pedal. Love the pressure on there.
Okay, yeah, so let's just go over all the parts real quick.
All right,
So-
here we go. So this right here controls the brake pedal. Down pushes it in, up pushes it back off the brake, allows it to go. I didn't put anything on the gas pedal. Instead, I just bumped the idle up a little bit so it pulls itself. Right here is the LCD screen. It's going to provide the temperature and the ignition. So if I hit the ignition, I turn it off.
It says off right there.
Yep, it flashes for a second, lets you know that it's off. Right here is the AC12 module. This module is the output, and that one's the receiver. So everything.
Okay, let's show the
here.
distance actually. Go run over there. Let's show them how far that thing works.
Well, it's not. We'll see.
We know it works. No, go freaking far, dude.
I'm trying to remember. Ignition. Yeah, okay. It's in park, right?
Yes, it's in park. You already put it in park. So he's going all the way down there.
Today it's cold outside. I'm just chilling on my porch.
Yeah, so all the way over there. Okay, now watch it. Go ahead and shut it off too. Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a 1 kilometer distance range. So I said that with, you know, that sounded very good and I said that. But anyways, you can go from a little ways away and she'll start up. And basically that system works by 2 buttons, which I showed earlier, start and ignition. And we have 2 relays sitting right here. Those 2 blue things? Yeah. One of those goes to the starter, one of those goes to the ignition. And all that it does is it takes 12 volts from the car, and I rigged the ignition switch so it just bypasses that and ignites the starter and the coil. And then the other, so the toggle, this toggle controls the linear actuator. That is also connected to 12 volts provided by the car, and it's controlled by this motor controller right here. And it basically, it's just a DC motor, so it switches polarity. And then the stepper motor is controlled by a stepper motor driver. I think it's a A6988 or something like that. And so that was pretty straightforward. It just depends on which way you go. If you turn it that way, it turns that way. Turn it the other way, it goes the opposite direction. That's pretty much all the components for the most part. Yeah. So
That's a wrap.
yep.